conscious of your partner to canoe successfully, as Mary and Todd have done for so many years. It's difficult to think of a project regarding preserving our township's natural resources that has not had Todd and Mary as a driving force. The almost invisible care and planning and the use of their own funds to help our community preserve its natural resources cannot be underestimated. Todd and Mary start working with our residents early. Do I have any former 4-H Clover buds here today? They work with the youngsters. Their commitment to education spans decades and has helped residents to value and understand why our community is such a special place, deserving of care and protection. One highlight of Mary and Todd's endeavors is the Munson Township Land Protection and Stewardship Fund. This fund, a part of the Cleveland Foundation's endowment, has enabled Munson to become eligible for other forms of funding and has been used to reimburse costs associated with land preservation, which a property owner might otherwise be required to pay. This crucial funding has proved a valuable last piece of the funding puzzle for conservation of property and exists because of the foresight years ago, which Todd and Mary had about the myriad of obstacles which can stand in the way of land stewardship. Another highlight is the existence of Scenic River Retreat. Todd's gentle way of approaching landowners and perhaps twisting their arms a little, and careful attention to detail paved the way for this park to exist. It has been the site of weddings, parties, and is well used by residents and passersby. The trail in the park was also funded by money, including local funds from the Foundation for Geauga Parks, and is much appreciated by our community. One word about Todd's attention to detail. When invasive species, Phragmites, invaded areas close to the road on township property, Todd went out himself many times to cut it down. If anyone of you has tried to cut Phragmites, you know that adventure is definitely above and beyond the call. So with enduring thanks and without further ado, I'm thrilled to honor Todd and Mary Ray as serving heroes of conservation.
Okay, what we're going to do now is ask Todd and Mary to say a few words, and then I'm going to circle back to Tammy, who I moved too quickly through the program and did not call her up. So Todd and Mary, and then Tammy.
I too, like Bob, had a sister, a nun, who made sure I had a cigar box under my feet in grade school. I get very uncomfortable with standing on a stool, but since I am short, I'm going to do it. Todd,
I won't let you fall.
Todd has asked me to read our remarks today because he has laryngitis. Our first encounter with the notion of land protection and a land ethic came from reading Aldo Leopold's book, A Sand County Almanac. It is an early work of art and classic conservation book that introduces the concept of human activity on the land to the complexity of natural ecosystems. If you have not read it, we would encourage you to do so. One of Todd's favorite writers is a poet and essayist, author Wendell Berry. Wendell Berry was born and raised and still lives in rural Henry County, Kentucky. He has written extensively about the need for our society to convert to a more humane and respectful land ethic, one that does not look at land first as an opportunity for extraction and exploitation. His most recent and likely his last book is entitled The Need to Be Whole. In its 400 pages, Berry pulls together a complete picture of the land ethic that begins with human connection and identity, with a place, with the physical land upon which people live and grow up and learn about and ultimately love. But Berry goes on to assert that this ethic is strengthened and enriched by a companion and now lost ethic of human neighborliness. the care and respect residents show for each other, even the ones they don't like and disagree with. Barry believes that true patriotism arises from this marriage of connection and love from the place one lives, and the connection and care for the neighbors one lives among. As an aside, this past spring, Todd and I went to Henry County, Kentucky, and very serendipitously met Wendell Berry. I wept because I knew how excited he was. Land protection work is almost always about community and the neighbors in the community. It is driven by a shared appreciation for the presence of green spaces. Vinny, you want to come up here with us? It is driven by a shared appreciation for the presence of green spaces, open fields, agricultural lands, and forests, wherever they are found. It is driven by a broadly held understanding that there is an intrinsic value in open spaces, in natural spaces, a value that is appealing, understandable, and satisfying to all, even those who do not own the land. It is truly a shared value, a common love. It is also true that there are some who do not understand this concept of common love, and there are many who do not realize it until it's too late. As Joni Mitchell sings, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And so we have seen the gradual loss of green spaces and open places of forests and fields throughout our community, and we decided to act to preserve some of that commonwealth through public service and through private initiatives. We consider this work to be a kind of neighborliness. Care for the land is also care for those who live around us and who value that land the same way, even if they do not own it. And that appears to be why we were chosen for this recognition as heroes of conservation. Thank you. Todd is very verbose. In the areas of land protection and preservation, we once heard Rich Cochran, Executive Director of Western Reserve Land Conservancy, make this comment. When no one is worried about who gets the credit, it's amazing how much can get done. With this in mind, it makes sense to point out a few facts, beginning with the fact that none of the land protection projects that we have been involved in would have happened without WRLC and the technical and professional resources they provided. In the case of acquiring and protecting public park lands here in Munson Township, while Todd did a lot of legwork, none of it would have happened without the support of the yes vote of Munson trustees. At that time, it was Frank Leah and Mary Samedi. Most recently, Todd, in his collaborative spirit and passion to protect as much land as possible, formed the Munson Land Protection Fund, as Irene noted early in her introduction, as a means to involving the whole community to be involved in preserving land and our rural lifestyle. After establishment, the fund has been quietly growing for years, and this year was a key piece of satisfying desire to preserving, one landowner's desire to preserving another beautiful property, and now protected 84 more acres. Our Munson Land Protection Fund would not have been part of this project without the steadfast foresight and unwavering commitment on the part of Todd to involve private citizens and political entities to accomplish his passion for preserved land, ecosystems, and a way of life for all of us, and the bunnies. It took a very committed landowner and the support of 7 founding members of that advisory committee of the Munson Land Protection Fund to make that happen. We are grateful to John Eklund, Ed Babcock, Irene McMullen, Jim Highway, Mary Samedi, Frank Leah for their support. I want to acknowledge Irene and Andy Bushman for their support of conservation and preservation, and Jim McCaskey. In conclusion, I would like to share the words from poet Mary Oliver. I've come to terms with the future. From this day onward, I will walk easy on the earth, plant trees, kill no living things, live in harmony with all creatures. I will restore the earth where I am. use no more of its resources than I need, and listen to what it is telling me. Thank you very much.
Sometimes things change in the program a little bit, but we're flexible. I'm calling up to the podium Andy Bushman, Munson Township trustee again.